Hello, JLB and Josephine. How you two doing? Thank you for coming. We're going to get a little early start. I just sat down and trying to get everything going. Please be kind. I was sick last night, actually this morning. Still not feeling my best. Went to bed last night and woke up, had to get up. Won't go into all the details, but I did have to throw up as well. So it was a bad night. I did not get a good night's sleep. So I don't know how long I'll go tonight. A friend of mine thinks it might be a touch of flu poisoning. I've had that before, and if it is, it's not as bad as the first time I had it. Hey, South Texas Jerry, how you doing, man? I gotta get my other phone up, and I'll get a connection up there for anybody that wants to come up. So I just went ahead and got an early start. I hope you're doing well, Jerry. I hope everything's going well there. And here we go. Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if I'm being heard. Uh, so let me get this. I'm glad. Thanks, Jerry. All right. If anybody wants to come up, come on up. Like I was saying, no. This morning I woke up. I was sick. All right. So it's Mother's Day in Mexico on a Saturday, not a Sunday. Okay. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming. Hello, JLB. We had Joseph. Let me do something for Josephine. I just noticed she doesn't have a. Josephine, if you would post something again, I'll give you a monitor's jacket. I am still setting up, but I didn't want to be late getting up here. It's the same day every year. All right, we always do it on a Sunday, and as many of you know, this will be the first Mother's Day without my mother. I would have been visiting her. I might have visited her this year, but so yeah, I lost my mother this year, as you all know. So and like I said, if Josephine is still there, go ahead and post again, and I'll give you a monitor's jacket. Didn't get to it soon enough, and it won't let me get back to it. So I'm going to unpin this message for a minute, see if it works. No, still didn't work. Well, there's Josephine. All right. All right, Josephine, now that you got monitor, I'm going to put the link back up. And thank you, Mike. My mom always said she didn't want to live to be 100. Well, she made it to 99, and then she passed away. So she got her wish. She didn't make 100. And I understand why my mother didn't want to live to be 100. I mean, she was in a nursing home. She knew she had dementia. I mean, it wasn't super severe, but it was enough. Hey, Dan, how you doing, man? She knew, like I said, that she had it. And she couldn't take care of herself anymore. So, and my sisters, who she had lived with, weren't healthy enough to take care of her. I mean, they're both in their mid to upper 70s, mid 70s, and they're not in the best of health. My one sister has MS, and the other one makes me look healthy. So, and you can tell that I'm not, in the greatest of shape. Thank you, JLB. But like I said, this is Happy Mother's Day for all the mothers out there and the new mothers. I know a few of the followers and of mine and some of the people that I follow, some of their followers just had babies this year. So I don't know if some of them might be the first. I know some of them have kids before this, but they're still mothers. Here in the South, in the Philippines, today is Sunday. So I think they celebrate. They may celebrate. I don't know if they. Dan, you can tell me. When do they celebrate Mother's Day in the Philippines? Do they do it like here in this? As you can see, my teeth are still in bad shape. Yeah, it's round, but I'm not as good as the round mound of rebound. That's it. Charles Barkley was a round boy, round man like us. Yeah, but he can rebound now. He can play some ball. But yeah, we're just all right. All right. We got South Texas Jerry here. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. We had a cold front come in Thursday, so it's warm, but it's not humid.
We had a cool day the other day that was probably in the 60s, but man, it was like 82% humidity. If I'm going to have that kind of humidity, I want heat.
Yeah, no, there's Wednesday that I did my live stream. That was really humid, but then cold front arrived the second day after.
Yeah.
There's a woodpecker right on top of that pole.
Yeah.
I can't zoom in, but it's a woodpecker right there.
Yeah. I was watching the Filipino P today. She puts out a new video every Tuesday and Friday. I didn't watch it till the Friday one till today.
I've never seen any of her videos.
Huh?
I've never seen any of her videos.
Okay, well, she's got something like 300,000 followers. Just a small time vlogger, like us.
300K is not a small time.
I'm kidding, Jerry. Come on.
Yeah, and like maybe 295,000 of them are male.
Probably most of them, yeah. She is an attractive young lady, but she's here in the States right now.
Okay.
This is her second time in the States. And she did one called, the video today was called Fishing with a Filipina. And she was talking about some of the things she's noticed that is different here than in the Philippines. Yeah, Mike, she's in the States right now. The last I heard, she was in Florida. I think she's still down in Florida. And she was talking about, how is the cost of living really that much difference? And then she was talking about some of the things that, these things are really not that much different. But then you start adding this in, which you don't have in the Philippines, or when she talked about car insurance. She was talking about car insurance might only cost you $100 a year, which saves you quite a bit of money. Yeah, I've heard she has an American boyfriend, so I don't know where they live. She doesn't show him. And but anyway, she was talking about that kind of stuff, and she said that's where you'd save your money is on savings of that. Well, I posted back to her. I hate to tell her this, but I don't hate telling her. I said I can live in the Philippines with my rent and my electric and my food, probably cheaper than what just my rent is for my apartment. You know, I'm not going to say let's just say my rent and my electricity is almost $1,000 here in the States. I don't live in an expensive apartment here. I really live in one of the cheaper, nice places. There's places that are a lot similar to mine, but they have a little bit better. Although my apartment complex is improving everything, but they're a little bit nicer. Like when I move out, they will remodel my whole apartment. It'll be a whole lot nicer than what it is right now. But it's nice for the money I'm paying here in this area. It's a nice apartment, and I really like my apartment complex. It's nice and safe. It's huge. We got a swimming pool. They now added a couple of dog parks. They got a small one up front and the bigger one by the close to the pool and the tennis courts. So you got a nice area to walk around in. I feel safe in the apartment complex. There's other places that I could save money, but I don't think I would feel safe in those areas. But like I said, my electricity. She's talking about how expensive electricity is over there, and she's saying, "Oh, it's cheaper here." That all depends on where you live too. I mean, I live here in like I said, the capital district of New York, and I don't use a lot of electricity unless I have to, and I still pay over $200 a month just for my electricity. Now, she was talking about the food probably wouldn't be much cheaper. Well, that depends on what you do. It might not be much cheaper for me because I really don't eat out that much. That's where I would save. And there, she said it could cost you as much. That would depend on the kind of food you eat. If you wanted to eat American style food, it'd probably cost you about the same, if not more. But if you wanted to go to the fast food, like places like Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's or Jollibee's, it's probably cheaper. But if you want to go to a nice restaurant like, I don't know, not Denny's even something as good as Denny's might cost you about the same from what I've been hearing. But I really don't go out a whole lot to eat. I might go out more there, but I'll be in Cebu. And that's what's going to influence, one of the things that's going to influence me about where I stay. Dan, I probably will use the air conditioner more there than I do here. Hopefully I'll do the same there as I do here. When I know I'm going to be gone for most of the day, like on the days I work, I either depends on the temperature, I may turn the air conditioner off the whole time I'm gone. And when I come back, turn it on and maybe go do something for a little bit to let it cool off. Usually, let's say you want to run let's pick it round figures. Let's say you want to run your air conditioner at 70. Now I run mine a little higher than that, but somebody might like it that cool. So what I would do is turn it up to maybe 80. So it's not going to kick on near as much, but it won't be real hard to lower the temperature back down. Hey, Victor, how you doing? They closed the Denny's there in Cebu. Oh, that's a shame. I do like Denny's. I go to Denny's. The Denny's near me, actually the two near me, they've both been shut down. One is being repurposed into another restaurant. I can't remember what kind it is, but it's nothing like a Denny's. And the other one, the last time I went by there, it's just closed. There's nothing in there.
Is that where the pretty waitress used to be at? Remember when Chris and Cebu, everybody would mentioned Denny's there in Cebu City,
Yeah,
a pretty waitress, but I don't know. I'm not sure how many
yeah.
locations is Cebu City had or has.
I don't either. Like I said, I'm going to start off. It could be the one at Gallery. I don't know. Victor would have to answer that, Danny. Dan. Uh, yeah, Monday is election day in the Philippines, so a lot of places will be shut down Monday. I've seen some of the vloggers that are. Dan knows I like watching house builds, and
No,
I was checking out one of the vloggers that's having a house built, and he happened to mention that it's going to be.
no alcohol.
Well,
It's like
yeah, but I'm just saying, they were talking about how they won't have any workers on Monday because they're all going to be off because of the election.
mm, Philippines has more holidays than they always have a holiday just a few times
Almost
a month.
yeah, at least every month, probably a couple times every month. And
Yeah, a
if you
couple.
don't take in all the Philippines, now we're not talking about national ones. Here's the local holidays. You probably have one every week in the Philippines somewhere, or at least average out. Because sometimes there's probably going to be one island and then another island may have the holiday the same week.
Yeah, my friend always tells me, "Oh, it's a holiday," but for her, it's a holiday that she doesn't get paid.
Yeah. Well,
And
where I work at, because the job I have, if it's a holiday on the day I work, I don't get paid because it's shut down. So if I want to
okay,
get paid, I have to take it as a vacation day. Now I
we
don't
get
worry about all the Monday holidays because I'm off on Mondays anyway now.
yeah.
This will be my first Monday off. This is my first 3-day weekend, and I'm sick. I don't know if you heard me earlier. I went to bed last night. I was hoping I was just tired, but I woke up and I was just could not. No, I think it's a slight case of food poisoning or stomach flu, something like that. Because I mean, I ended up throwing up 4 times, and I won't talk about how many times I've been to the bathroom.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm hoping a good night's sleep will take care of that tonight. I mean, like I said, I went to bed about 10 o'clock last night, and I was back up by 11:30 because I just could. I woke up, I had to go, so it was and I just could not get back to sleep till almost 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe later, a little later, and I woke up before noon. So it was a very tough night last night, and I have not left the apartment. I opened the door once or twice to look outside. It's a pleasant day, sunny, high 60s. Tomorrow's supposed to be up around 70. So I'm hoping it's nice that I feel good enough to be able to get outside and do so. I need to take care of some stuff on Monday if I can. Well, I got to do my laundry sometime. I always try to do it on Monday if the weather, maybe tomorrow if I feel good. But I got to do that, and then I got to try to track down a dentist yet. I went to one place and they won't take. There's supposed to be a way to have them take my insurance. I was given a what they call out of network number, which if they use that, my network will pay them. All right, and I'll have to pay the difference, but the network will cover most of the work because I can't get to anybody in the network until August at the earliest. So I may be looking like this for a while. And so, go ahead.
You see that? No, it's too blurry.
I can see something. It looks a little blue.
It's a snail.
Okay. It's awful
But
small.
yeah, the snails here are small. When I saw a snail in the Philippines, it was like 100 times the size of that one.
I've seen snails bigger than that myself.
Or like just not talking like escargot, but or the ones that you see in aquariums,
Yeah.
but just right there, just in a planter, the garden. I had never seen snails that huge. Said, damn, these animals are huge. compared to
seen
what
them out
we
in the
had.
wild a lot bigger than that. I don't know if they're as big as the ones in the Philippines, but I've seen them more than 4 or 5 times that size.
Yeah, no, ours are they don't go that big here,
Yeah.
and unless you're talking about the seashells from the ocean or aquarium, of course, that's different.
I'm trying to remember where I saw them. It's not in this area, but it could
Did
have
you,
been in California or somewhere like that. But I remember seeing snails in
might have
person,
been.
a lot larger than that. It could have been the Philippines. I mean, I've been to, like I said, when I was in the Navy, I might have saw them there, but I seen them where they were probably about that big. And also, you see slugs about that big,
Yeah,
which is not a snail.
no. Hey, did you see Talks vlogs shorts on her tacos
Yes,
that
I
she
did.
made?
I commented on
Okay,
it.
I was gonna ask Dan, is that normally how they eat tacos over there? Got a lot of lettuce.
Yeah. Well, it looked like she was folding it almost into a burrito too.
I saw that, and one of them said that looks like a burrito more than a taco, or
Yeah.
it was the husband that was folding it.
Was it the husband fold? I just
Yeah, I
saw
think it
someone
was.
folding it up and looked more like a burrito. But you know
Yeah,
me,
and I
I
was
like
gonna
burritos, so. But right now, I can't eat anything like
no.
that until my stomach straightens out. And I do like Mexican food. I
Yeah, I
like
was gonna ask.
Italian food, and that's not going to be good for me either. So, hey,
Yeah,
you know, I just no, I have, yeah, I don't have much selection right now at home. I have plenty of cereal, but no milk.
eh, I was gonna.
Plenty of meat, but very little bread.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I was
anyway,
dancing on the stream.
uh,
Is Dan still in the stream in the chat?
uh, he's got escargot written down.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I
Hey
was seeing
Mel,
his
how you
stream.
doing?
I saw his live stream yesterday. Yeah, Friday,
Yeah,
and I was telling them to roll the R's because of his last name.
yeah,
Because I said Herrera.
yeah.
You gotta roll the R. The R's there.
Well, maybe not. The Filipinos may not do that.
Or not even the Americans here.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. The way he was talking, some of his ancestors came from the Philippines.
Dan's ancestors.
I think that's what he said on one of his
Wow,
live streams. So,
mine are probably Mexican, and it has to be, of course, Spaniards.
yeah.
Spain conquering
Yeah.
anything they could back then.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to remember, Spain ruled the Philippines for like 300 years.
Yeah, and same like Mexico when they came here to Cuba and
Yeah,
Puerto
yeah.
Rico.
Oh, by the way, Melanie just told you hi,
Hey, Mel.
and Dan said thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome. Hey, what did Dan say about Mother's Day over there?
Yeah, Dan, I never did see if you mentioned Mother's Day. When do they celebrate, or do they celebrate Mother's Day in the Philippines? 'Cause the first time I found out that, and I should have known it, but the first time I found out for sure. All right, Mel. I hope you're having a lot of visitors.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dan
I
says the
was.
name Herrera is everywhere here in the Philippines.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say the
And
some
Mel
Asian,
says Happy Mother's Day to your mother.
and likewise, and Mel. And I was gonna say some Arab countries. I think it's in the summer.
Yeah.
I believe.
Well, you take Thanksgiving. I was in Japan. This is the first holiday I realized wasn't everywhere, and I should have known it
Oh.
before. But I was 19. I was young, dumb, and we won't say the rest of it. But
The-
anyway, it's Thanksgiving, a holiday on base, but you go out in town, it was nothing. They didn't care. Now they probably knew it was a holiday because that's a Navy base right there, but they didn't care it was a holiday, and so that kind of hit me.
I think the only other Thanksgiving
Hold on, Dan says Mother's Day isn't a major holiday here.
is not
No,
okay. So just
he says
like
no
just
Hallmark
any.
stores, but like I said, that was the first holiday that made me think which holidays are Christians, which ones are Americans. Because Thanksgiving is there's Canada has a Thanksgiving. Theirs
In
is in
October.
October. Theirs is
Yeah, in October,
and ours is in November.
November.
But I don't know of any other countries that have Thanksgiving. So
But
and now
is Canadian?
Independence Day. I think most countries have an Independence Day. In Mexico, Cinco de Mayo.
No,
It's not.
September 16th.
So what's Cinco de Mayo celebrating?
That's La Batalla de Puebla, which is a battle that they won against France.
Okay, so it was the victory over the French.
The French.
And what day you said? September what?
16th.
Oh, that'll be easy. You said 16th.
Yep, 1-6.
1-6. Oh, that'll be easy to remember.
Yep, with
That's
her birthday.
My birthday.
Yep.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, el 16 de septiembre.
Yeah. Now, I know when the Americans, I don't want to say gave their freedom, but turned over their control of their country to the Philippines, they were wanting to celebrate it on July 4th like we do here. But the Filipinos decided to do it on a different day to honor their own way of thinking when this independence happened, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I'm not saying that. It would have been kind of cool if we had our Independence Day on the same day, but Victor, what's Irish name? Sanitaria is Irish? Don't sound. No, Grant. Maybe. My last name is well, it's basically English, but the Koreans spell it the same way. Lee.
Yep. Very popular in Korea.
Yeah. Well, the Chinese have Lee, but they spell it L-I.
Oh.
It's pronounced Lee, but they spell it L-I. Now, unless you're in Hong Kong, and a lot of the Chinese in Hong Kong changed their last name spelling to L-E-E when they were under British rule. And but most of my family is either from England, Germany, or France, or United States. And when I say United States, my grandmother was raised on a reservation. So I have Native American blood in me. Not a lot,
but there's some there.
Yeah. And like I said, my grandmother was half, I believe, maybe more, but I think she was only half. And her sister, and her brothers were all raised on the reservation. And almost, as far as I know, all of them ended up moving to my hometown. I don't know if they did that. She did that after she married my grandpa, or if they met here. I don't know. They never got into it. It's not part of the family history they talked about where they met and where they got married. I know before my grandmother passed away that my grandfather and grandmother were married for 50 years. And I also found out on their 50th anniversary that my great grandpa, who I'm named after, his name was Lawrence, but my mom named me Larry. She got Lawrence sounded too stuffy. But anyway, he married his third wife on the same day my grandfather married my grandmother. So notice I said his third wife, but that one they were married for over 50 years before my great grandfather passed away. My great grandfather was
50
in his
years?
50 years. My great grandfather was in his 90s.
I was gonna say then you must have married young with the first one.
I couldn't tell you. My grandfather's the son from his first wife. The grandmother that raised him died when my grandfather was a teenager.
Mhm.
And then my grandmother and grandfather, great grandfather, my great grandmother, the one I was raised, known as my great grandmother, all got married on the same day. Now, my great grandfather didn't make the celebration. He was busy doing something else, either hunting or fishing. I don't know.
Hmm.
He loved to hunt and fish. And but my great grandmother was there, and my grandfather and grandmother, and my cousins came back from Iowa, and we had a big party. And that's when I found out. So like I said, they were both married on the same day, so they were both married for over 50 years. And my grandfather passed. My great grandfather passed away before my great grandmother, but my grandmother passed away before my grandfather. And both my great grandfather, my grandfather, and my oldest uncle, Everett, my grandfather's oldest son, all lived to be in the early to mid 90s. My mom, as you know, lived to be 99. And then her Uncle Orange, which was her mother's, I can't remember if that was her brother, or I think that was her uncle. I think it was my great great uncle, my mom's great uncle. He lived to be in his late 90s. I want to see about 98, somewhere in there. And how they found out he passed away. My great uncle Orange. I know he's at least my great. I don't know if great or not. But my great uncle Orange, he was a bit of a character. Like I said, he was raised on the reservation too. And but he'd get a wild hair up his backside, and he'd just take off, week, 2 weeks, month, whatever, and not tell anybody he's going. So they were just used to him just deciding, he wanted to go somewhere, and he'd go. And he was in his mid 90s at that time. He got a wild hair and decided he wanted to go back home to die. So he hitchhiked from Terre Haute, Indiana to Philippi, West Virginia, and checked himself into a nursing home not too far from the reservation. And how we found out he died and where he was at was after he died, some of the relatives or some of the people that knew him from the reservation got a hold of my cousin Virginia Bell, which was his daughter, and told her that, Uncle Orange had passed away and where it was at and where he was buried. And then they invited the family down to the reservation. They were having some big thing going on and wanted to know if any of the family wanted to come down. So my mom, my Aunt Gloria, my sister Wanda, her husband, and a few other people, I think like my cousin LaDonna and some others, all decided to go down because they, some of them had never been there. I know my mom had never been there. And so they went down to meet up with family down there and find out a little bit more about the family history on the Native American side. I couldn't go because I didn't have the time to take off. It would have been a nice trip. But all right. Like I said, my family is nothing but mutts. My dad is mostly English. Like I said, last name is Lee. His mom's maiden name was Bridgewater. But I do know there's supposed to be some German blood in him as well. I don't know how much. Now, my mom is a true mutt. It's like I said, because of her grandpa. There's German, French, English, Irish, Scottish. I'm not sure about the Irish, but I know Scottish and Native American. So, you kind of mix it all in together. I'm a Heinz 57. Definitely a mixed culture. Like I said, now the Scottish, my great whatever price. He came over before the Revolutionary War. He was on an English ship, jumped ship, and they pulled into port here in the United States. Ran off into the woods to get away from the Royal Navy, or because he was conscripted against his will, which they did back then. And he's the one that married a Native American. But he also fought I found out later, I didn't know this until they made that trip, but he did fight in the Revolutionary War. So I could trace my family back to pre-Revolutionary War. Nobody signed up for that daughter DOR, Daughters of the Revolution. Nobody's in that. Nobody cares about that. That's just people trying to make themselves feel better. My grandfather, his family, the German French area of my background, came over in the 1850s. So they came over before the Civil War. And with the last name like Lee, who knows when they came over? Nobody ever talked about it. It could have been, could go back clear to the Mayflower. I don't know. There was Lees there. I doubt if I'm related to them, but like I said, with a name like Lee, you don't know unless you really get into it and try to track it back. And I don't care enough to do that. I just know my family's been here for generations. We were all immigrants. So anybody who wants to immigrate here legally, I'm all for them. Come on in. We need you. But I want them to come in legally where they've got and that's because of 9/11 mainly. But I want to make sure that they, how should I say this? They're not criminals. They don't have bad intentions. They're not terrorists trying to sneak in. And that's what, I'd love to see a working permit to let more people in. But that's me. I mean, everybody's got their own thing. Yeah, the 12th of June is the Philippines. I knew that, like I said, the United States was hoping to make it July 4th, but the Filipinos decided they wanted June 12th because they're more in line with their way of thinking of when they got their freedom, which that's their right to do. You have we say, July 4th, 1776. That's just when we declared ourselves free. We had to fight for it. It was a little longer than that before we actually got it. That's when we declared it. And so that's what we go by. And we didn't even get the Declaration of Independence ratified till after the 10 amendments were ratified. And that took about a year or so to get those ratified. So, if I remember right, I know it took quite a while. And so,
log off, Larry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sign off.
Well, yeah, it's getting close to your bedtime.
Yeah, I'm going to Mexico in the morning.
Okay. So you're off tomorrow.
Yeah, Sundays I'm off.
Okay. I know it's Wednesdays, and I knew there was another day they weren't together. So.
Yeah, Wednesday and Sunday.
Okay. Well, enjoy. You gonna go see any family, or are you just going down there to get something to eat and do some
haircut, and buy junk food that and medicine that the coworkers asked. And I'm gonna eat some breakfast over there. I'm gonna try the same place that I ate last month, but I'm gonna try the tacos. She makes homemade corn tortilla tacos.
Okay.
Not the stuff you buy from the tortilleria, but the homemade. And I don't know, you ever ate homemade corn tortillas? Those are
no, I'm not.
Something really special, something unique.
The Mexican taco traditionally is a soft shell, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the hard shell is something we invented here in America. Isn't that correct?
I believe so. The hard shell, I've never seen it over there.
I'm saying
I've seen it in Oh, not even that. I was gonna say even here where they make tacos, where they put them in the oil and the grease, but it's not hard shell.
Yeah. Well, they got a fast food Mexican place close to me called Moe's, and their burritos. I don't know about their tacos because I've never got a taco. I always get a burrito. They put it on a grill and heat it up, you know, before they put the food in, and they'll put it on both sides just to heat it up.
Yeah.
They don't, you know, they're not making out. But I've never seen any hard shells there. I don't mean they don't
Yeah,
have.
no.
Them, just never seen it.
And I've never seen them in Mexico either.
Well, the first time I had a soft shell taco, this is the truth, man, because I didn't go to regular Mexican restaurants. All right, and I was stationed in Washington. I was stationed in Pacific. Let me spit that out. Pacific Beach, Washington. It's a little town of about 500 people. We got a base there of about 110 if their base is still there. And one of the guys is a Filipino girlfriend, might have been his wife, I'm not sure. But I always, the way I heard it, they were just boyfriend and girlfriend, but been together for years. She cooked at the club. She got a job cooking at the club, and she would make tacos on one day a week. And you had your choice between hard shell and soft shell. And I tried the soft shells, and I've loved the soft shells ever since.
That's what I'm used to. That's all I've eaten in my life.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, if given the choice, I'm always going soft shell because I just like the taste of it better.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have that crunch with my. I want crunch. I want the chips or
Yeah, that's
something like that. That's the crunch.
like the Doritos or something like that. But
I don't know if they give you the corn chips or whatever they call them at most Mexican restaurants. But they do here. Lorraine, how you doing?
Chips. They call them in Spanish. They call them totopos, but here they call them chips.
Yeah. But you have the dip that you can dip the hot sauce on. And if I get those, like when I go to Moe's, I don't get the chips because I'm coming home. And but
I eat a few of them, and then I bring the rest home with me.
Well,
I eat them this.
Yeah, but see, I take the burrito home. I don't even sit there and eat. I just get and I just don't want to bring the corn chips home. But now if I go to a Mexican restaurant where I'm going to sit down and eat, then I'll take the corn chips with the hot sauce.
Yeah.
But hey, Anna G, Lorraine, thank you for coming. But so yeah, it's just like when I go back home to Indiana, I get together with my cousin if he's home. Last time I was home, he wasn't there. But when he's home, we'll get together and we go to a family-run Mexican restaurant that's close to where my sister lives. Not too far. He lives a little farther away, but not very. It's within 5 miles of I think where he lives, and about 3 miles from where my sisters live, which is usually where I stay at. But sometimes I'll just get a hotel room instead. And so, but we always go there at least once for lunch. And depends on how long I'm home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to have my Mexican food at least when I'm home, at least once while I'm there. Just like one of the things Indiana is known for is tenderloins, breaded tenderloins. And I have to have a tenderloin every time I go home, at least one time.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole state of Indiana is known for tenderloins. So
it's like going to the Philippines. You gotta have that balut at least once.
No, I don't have to have the balut. I gotta have lumpia, but not balut.
Yeah, I like the balut. I'll have
lumpia a whole lot more once. I like lumpia.
Yeah, same here. The lumpia, the Shanghai. Yeah. But I like more than the quack, more than the balut, I like the quack and the isaw.
Yeah, that's the duck eggs, right?
And the quack is a quail egg. The little orange.
Yeah, the little ones.
The ones in that
Yeah,
orange batter.
yeah, I've seen those. That I'd be willing to try.
It's just the batter, but it's an egg. It's not fertilized like what you like a balut.
Yeah, I said I'd be willing to eat the quack quack.
Yeah,
I'd be
it's
willing to eat that. I might even be willing to chew on a chicken foot. All right.
I don't like that. It's too tendery. Too it's they're popular here in Mexico as well, but I don't like it. Nor
And
the
so,
chicken head.
like I said, I didn't say I would like it. I said I might be willing to try that.
Yeah, they call it Adidas. I tried it the last time I was there. I said, "No, let me just try it once." I didn't like it.
Dan says quail eggs are. He's got a tongue like good.
Yeah, quail egg is good. I like the duck egg. I remember when I used to have ducks.
Yeah.
Especially if
I've
you
never
boil
had
the
duck.
egg.
I mean, if it's actually an egg and not a balloon style egg, I'll be
No,
willing.
it's an egg like a chicken.
Yeah, like I said, I'd be willing to try that. But like I said, I'm more of a regular chicken egg type person. But all right, Anna G says then the sauce is vinegar with lots of chili, Sir Jerry.
Which one?
I don't know if she's talking about the balloon or what, but she says the sauce is vinegar with lots of chili.
Oh yeah, the sauce that they have there is uh, vinegar, and then you see the little chili peppers.
Yeah,
But I don't like vinegar.
yeah. I'd be.
Yeah,
I'm not a super big fan of it, but in certain foods it helps quite a bit as long as you don't over indulge in it. I like
yeah.
it a little bit in my coleslaw, but I like mostly mayo or mayonnaise, either one, uh, for my coleslaw. But I don't eat coleslaw a whole lot.
Are you gonna try those red hot dogs when you go over there?
I will try those.
I remember Chris and Cebu hated them. I tried it once, I think in 2019. I said no, I don't like them.
But like I said, you got to remember we're comparing them to American hot dogs,
Yeah,
which we grew up with.
Nathan's and
They're
Oscar
going to
Mayer.
taste a lot different. It's just like their spaghetti. I'll try their spaghetti, but
I want to go to Popeyes and try the spaghetti next time. But I'll be in BGC.
okay.
I want to try the spaghetti at Popeyes.
All right. I didn't know they had a Popeyes over there.
Yeah, they got one in BGC right there in Taguig,
Okay.
and that's where when I went to go meet up with one of the vloggers.
Yeah.
We ate there
Yes.
at Popeyes. It was
See, I know they got
basically
KFCs all over there.
KFC.
Yeah, because remember
Yes.
when Chris and Sabu
Yeah.
would go up and run, you see the KFC?
Yep. Yeah, KFC. There's one in the town in the city that I stay in.
Yeah, I've heard her pretty. Dan
No,
says
not
Popeyes
KFC.
is the bomb.
Which one?
Dan says Popeyes is the bomb.
Yeah, but I want to try like the spaghetti
Yeah.
stuff that you wouldn't need. I haven't ate Popeyes here maybe 10 years, but I would need something you can eat here. I'm not gonna eat it over there.
Yeah.
You want to
Well,
eat
yeah.
something that's
Oh yeah. Like I said, no, I've had Jollibee here in the States, but it was down in New York State, New York City. I had the Chicken Joy. It was pretty good. Now I don't know how that compares to the Philippines because I never had it, but I enjoyed it there. And if I get back down there again in that same area, I'll go back to the Jollibee and do that again. I'll tell you something else I want to try is a mango shake.
yeah.
Dan says
Just that.
KFC is starting to go downhill.
Anything Jollibee, you can always ask Talks Vlogs. He's always eating Jollibee.
Yeah. Hey Ian, how you doing? And Ian says hi, Jerry.
Hey Ian. Ian is from Baguio.
All right, Baguio. If I was going to live in Baguio, I'd take a jacket with me.
It's now you
After
yeah, I think you'll be sweating if you went to Baguio.
No. Baguio is one of the coolest places in the Philippines.
but it's
I'm
not.
not saying when I said if I was going to the Philippines, let's say I was going to move to Baguio, I would take a jacket because after a while you get adjusted to it.
Yeah,
And
and it's.
and you would feel cool at night. You'd want a jacket.
But if it's like if you're there for 2 days, 3 days,
Maybe even a
50
week, you
degrees,
might not need it.
50 degrees is not cold. Well,
Yeah.
it's cold for us here, but we get used to that because it can get a lot colder here. But
Yeah.
50 degrees, six is not
Well,
cold
50
at
degrees, I
night.
wear a jacket here.
I don't,
I
unless
do.
I'm totally working outside.
If I'm outside doing anything, I have a jacket, and I'll wear a jacket just to walk out to my car and walk into work. Because the thing that bothers me is what happens if it gets colder or if it rains. I have a real light rain jacket that you can still feel the coolness through the jacket, but it's not as
I get,
cold as not having it on.
I get the
I
lake
have
effect snows.
Lake Effect snows. Now this wouldn't do any good in Lake Effect snow.
No,
I
no.
I have three jackets that are kind of like rain jackets or snow jackets. I have my winter one, which is quite heavy. That one will not go with me. The next jacket I have is more for like late winter, early spring, late fall, early winter. You know, when it gets down and probably it's going to be the low's going to be in the 30s to 40s. That kind of weather, I'll wear that jacket. But if it's going to get down below 30 and stay there, I'm wearing my winter jacket. But I just bought a new one. Now the other two are safety type work jackets. They're the yellow with the stripes that they're reflective, so if you're walking around at night, they can see real easy. Because
Yeah,
I remember I worked in a truck yard for Amazon, and then I worked at a construction zone, so I needed those kind of jackets. And when I bought this new one, hey Crystal, how you doing? And so when I bought this new one, it's blue, and it's a whole lot lighter than any of the other two. And but it's a lot, like I said, it's a lot lighter, a lot small, easier to carry. If I want to, I can roll it up. I got a little bag that came with it. I can roll it up and stick it in the bag and carry it in
that's
a little
cool.
bag. I mean, bag's only about that long,
Yeah,
maybe maybe that thick or that wide. And so I bought that. It's got inside pockets. The other two don't, which I like inside pockets. And it's a rain jacket, so it'll help protect the stuff you put in there. But yeah, so I bought that one. If I take a jacket with me, that'll be the one that'll go. And I'll only be warm when it's raining really, raining and I want to try to stay dry. But it's going to have to be cooler out. I mean, if it's in the 90s and raining, you wear a jacket, you're going to get just as soaked from sweat wearing that jacket as you would from rain. And you'll feel better just getting wet from the rain. So I'll
yeah.
have to have an umbrella. Oh, I found that out from when I was in the Navy. It was raining really bad. And I decided to wear a coat, a spring jacket. And by the time I got to the bar, I was just soaked in sweat. And you got in the bar, you were just, ugh. But if you just got wet from the rain you went in, it was more refreshing. It wasn't, you didn't feel as sticky, what I'm saying.
Yep. Well, I'm out of here already.
All right. I'm just saying, Crystal says for some, Dan, they celebrate. She talked about Mother's Day, but it's not a big deal nationwide. All right, Jerry, you have a good night. Enjoy your
Likewise.
time in Mexico tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll go to Mexico in the morning. I'll be there by 6:30,
All right.
and I'll probably start streaming because I gotta buy a SIM card. I gotta reload my SIM card so I can be able to go live. My T-Mobile doesn't work over there, and that's because I'm just across the border.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it still does, but the last time I went to Canada, I had AT&T phone, And as soon as I crossed the border into Canada, it didn't work.
Yeah, and that's just literally you can be 100 feet and it's not gonna work
So
for the
I just
data.
didn't have, didn't have a phone for about a week. I went up to Montreal, and because when I went to Toronto, I don't recall. I may not even had a cell phone at that time. I didn't get a cell phone until late in life. I never cared to have one. And when I bought
Yeah.
one, it's because I was looking for work down here where I'm at now. And I figured if I had a local phone number, they were more apt to call me. So I got a phone number with the 518 area code. Now that I didn't get a job through that, but because I had the phone, I just kept the same number.
Yeah.
Because everybody that knew me, that if I gave the phone number out, that's the number I gave. And so then for years, I just carried a flip phone. I didn't have a regular cell phone plan. I paid as you go. And when I first got it, it was Singular. It was pay as you go. Then AT&T bought them out, and so and then I finally they quit. This flip phones became more as expensive as the smartphones, so I started to switch to smartphones. Loved it ever since. All right, Jerry, you have a good night. I'm keeping you up. Sorry about that, boss. And enjoy yourself. So Jerry's gone, everybody. Anybody else want to come up? You're more than welcome to come up. We've been going for about an hour now. Hey, Tim, I think I forgot to say hi to you earlier. And to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Your Sunday already in the Philippines, and Sunday is Mother's Day. And it's kind of a sad day, and for me, because this is the first Mother's Day without my mom. And but I know that's what she wanted. She didn't want to live to be 100, so she got her wish. She had a nice long life. She lived to be 99, and as many people have told me, I have to agree with them. She's in a better place. Like I said, she had a slight case of dementia and was getting worse. I think I told many of you before, every time I went home, she always remembered me. She didn't always remember the next day that I visited her the day before, but she remembered me. So the last time I saw my mother, she didn't remember me. So that was kind of sad. Because she kept asking me, now, who are you? And I tell her I'm your son, Larry. And a little bit later, she goes, now, who are you again? So, like I said, I knew she didn't really remember me. So that made me sad. But like I said, it's the way life is. And so right now, I'm worried about my sister Wanda, who fell going home for our mother's funeral. She fell. Now, my sister was born with a real bad curvature of the spine. So she's always had pain in her back to some degree. Most of the time, it didn't bother her too much. Every once in a while, it hurt. She'd have to take medication. But when she fell this last time, she fell on her back, and that has put her in a world of hurt. So if any of you believe in the power of prayer, if you would pray for my sister Wanda to make a complete recovery, I'd appreciate it. I pray for her every night and every morning when I get up. She spent almost 2 weeks in the hospital in Terre Haute. In Terre Haute, after she fell. Came back to, she lives in Elba, but they were in Leroy for a little bit. She spent about 3 or 4 days in the hospital there, maybe more, because she came down with pneumonia and COVID. So she spent some time, about a week again. So she spent 3 weeks to 4 weeks in the hospital. Now she's in another rehabilitation center, which they happen to love, and right next door is a hospital. And so she is doing better. I mean, early in the week, I think it was Monday, she texted me and asked me to pray because her bad back was just hurting her. She was in tears. So like I said, I pray for her every night, every morning. The next day, she said, thank God, she feels so much better. and so she's doing better. Excuse me, everyone. Like I said, I've had a rough night last night. Hopefully, I'll get a good night's sleep tonight, and hopefully, I'll get over whatever's bothering me. But come on up, Dan. I'm always mispronouncing somebody's name. Do nothing else my own. Oh, by the way, I don't know how many people's here, but I've had LV and a few others say I should sing. Well, I'm not going to play any music, and I'm only going to sing a couple words. Then you can tell me how bad it is or how good you think it is. I know it won't be good enough to quit my day job, but I'm going to sing a truck song. Well, actually a truck. And it goes something like this. Hello, I'm a truck. There'd be no truck drivers if it wasn't for trucks. Those gear jamming, coffee drinking nuts, they drive their way to glory and they have all the luck. But there'd be no truck drivers if it wasn't for trucks. All right, now you got a sample of my lousy singing. So I hope I didn't break any eardrums. Hey, I'm apologizing for singing, Dan. But LV and a couple others said I should sing. So I thought, well, all right, we'll sing that little bit. And anybody want to tell them that I sang? They're going to have to be in about an hour into my live stream before I sang. And then go in and listen to that little bit of singing. And if they make comments, say, not so bad, but keep your day job. Only among friends and only when you're drunk. You're right, Tim. I know that. I would never quit my day job. Sing only in the shower. Another one, sing solo. Nobody can hear you. That would be my favorite. Larry, sing solo. I can't hear you, please. Well, I happen to like truck songs because, as I told you and probably many others, my father drove trucks cross country. And so there's a lot of truck songs. I know some of them. Some I know quite a bit. Some I only know a little bit. But if the song is playing, I can sing along with it because it comes back to me. Hello on My Truck is a kind of a comedic song. It's supposed to be telling the story from the side of the truck. He talks about how if they're late, he gets the blame. If they're on time, if they're on time, he takes the credit. If we're late, I get the blame. You got to tell those people how we got passed by that busload of hippies, like I was setting up on Jack's, because he missed a gear or something like that. And then he talks about they're in a truck stop and he's in there flirting with the waitress. He thinks he's God's gift to women. He never leaves them a tip. Where do you leave me? Yeah, that's right. Right next to a cattle truck. And then you hear him moo, and then he goes, why couldn't he park me over by that pink Mac? Gosh, she's got pretty mud flaps. I'm talking about stacks. They're both chrome. Gloria, how you doing? Let me give you a jacket, Gloria. Now, Gloria, just to let you know, I'm probably mispronouncing your name, but hey, Jack. Now, Gloria, if you ever want to drop your link, you just type in 3 L's, and my Nightbot will drop your link for you. Or you can drop it yourself if you want. So, hey, Jack, you're a little late. I've been going for over an hour. I'm thinking about dropping out. Like I said, I was sick today. There you go, Jack. Get it in there. There it goes. There it goes. That's how you do it, Gloria. If you ever want, if you're in my live stream, just type in 3 L's. They can be little L's or big L's. It doesn't matter. It could be capitals. And I'll show you. Now this one, don't join this one here, people. That happens to be my Ninja. I don't put anything up on it. Well, sorry, Jack, I'm not feeling well today. I woke up this morning and had to throw up. I ended up throwing up around 4 times this morning. I also think I might be preparing myself for a colonoscopy, if you know what I'm saying. I don't want to get too graphic here. So it's been a rough day today, especially last night into early this morning, probably around 8, 9 o'clock. Pinky Gray, how you doing, Pinky? Thank you for coming. And so anyway, like I said, it was just a very rough night. And Pinky Gray, happy Mother's Day to your mom. Yeah, there you go, Pinky. But happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and everybody's mother. But yeah, so yeah, you know what? All I've ate today is crackers. I'm afraid to eat anything else because, like I said, my stomach's really been off today, and I'm hoping it's just today. Hoping it's just a stomach flu thing. You can get those and they last 24 hours. So hopefully that's all it is. A friend of mine telling me they think it might be food poisoning. And I had food poisoning when I was in the Navy, and this isn't as bad as when I had it in the Navy, but it could have been just a worse case. This might just be a slight case. But yeah, it's not a pleasant day today. I thought about canceling my live stream because of it, but I got, like I said, I got to feeling a little better. I haven't thrown up for hours, but I'm still having the other problem, but not as bad as it was this morning. So everything's tending towards getting better, or trending, I should say, not tending, trending towards getting better. So that makes me happy. But yeah, so we're just getting here and trying to have some fun, spend some time here. This is my, and you know, I had to get sick this weekend. And the reason why I say that, this is my first 3-day weekend in months, where now, from now on, I have 3 days off every week. Now, when I was working at the port, the construction, doing construction work, not skirter work for construction at the Port of Coleman's. When I was working there, I had every Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And I was working 4 10-hour days there. Now that was 6 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. But now I'm working 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening, and I get Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. So I'm back to having 3 days, but it's been almost 5 months since I've had a 3-day weekend without taking vacation or time off. And yeah, probably been a little over 5 months, right around 5 months of, like I said, without taking vacation or time off. So I was looking forward to this weekend. Going to just relax today and do nothing. Try to enjoy. Maybe walk down, check my mail out. And, you know, a couple small things. Maybe run to the store, but nothing major. And then maybe do some more tomorrow. Then even more on Monday because I got to do most of the stuff I got to do. It's got to wait till Monday. But now I am the only time I had food delivered because I had nothing at home. I had to have some food delivered to the place. And that's the only time I stepped out was to grab the food and bring it into the apartment. Outside of that, I've not been out of my apartment today. And if I had more food at the house today, I wouldn't even ordered that. Wouldn't have stepped out of my house at all. And so that's what's going on. Hopefully tomorrow I'll feel a lot better. Well, and hopefully my whole weekend isn't ruined by being sick. But yeah, this is the sickest I've been in a long time. Usually I'll get sick, throw up, something like that. And when I finally get some sleep, like I did today, I finally got some. Wasn't a whole lot, about 4 hours maybe. I usually feel much better, but I didn't today. So, matter of fact, I didn't really throw up until after I got up. I wanted to all the time before I went to sleep, but I couldn't do it. But so anyway, like I said, we've been going now for over an hour. I don't want to push it too hard because, like I said, I'm not feeling well. So I want to thank everybody for coming, and remember to be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe, stay healthy. Plus have fun. And I'll see y'all on my next one, and probably in some of the other live streams that I attend to. Bye, everybody. Have fun.